This is Hugo Ferrer from Tantric, and you're listening to Fascination Street Podcast.
I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is a return appearance. My buddy from the Barstar podcast, Stephen O'Reilly. Not only did Stephen O'Reilly coin the term streetwalkers to describe you, the listener, but Stephen O'Reilly is also directly and or indirectly responsible for between 20 and 25 of my previous guests. I've known Stephen for 3.5 years or something like that, and he is so much fun to talk to every single time I talk to him. And this episode is no different. In this episode, we talk about his move from Louisville, Kentucky to Tampa Bay, Florida. We don't really get into the why because it's kind of personal and or nobody's business, but we do talk about what he thinks of that transition and how it's going for him there. We talk a little bit about his podcast, the Barstar podcast. We also talk a little bit about his book called Barstar, and mostly we talk about his new band, Soul Circus Cowboys. How he met them, what kind of band they are, what kind of music they play, how often they play, all that good stuff. We have a lot of fun along the way. We give each other a whole bunch of shit. It's so much fun. I love this dude. He's the best. And then towards the end, we talk about this new adventure that him and his wife are about to embark on. And it's super fascinating and may even result in some future content for him coming up. We'll see about that. But it's a very fascinating adventure thing that they're about to do, and I can't wait to hear more about it. Stephen does let me play a song from Soul Circus Cowboys in this episode, so check that out. You are going to dig it. And this is a return appearance with my buddy, the great Stephen O'Reilly.
Yeah, talk to me, yeah.
Welcome back to Fascination Street Podcast, Stephen O'Reilly. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm fucking cold, Stephen.
You live in Texas. It's supposed to be hot.
Let me explain how this works. Today, as we record this, is Monday. Saturday, it was 80 degrees outside, and then Sunday morning, it was 21.
Wow.
So right now, as we speak, it's 2 p.m, and it is 47 degrees. But this morning, it was 21.
47. Nice.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm good.
All right, folks. This is Stephen O'Reilly from the Barstar podcast. He is a musician. He is a super cool fucking nerd. And he wrote a book.
I did.
Ladies and germs, if you hear a meowing in the background, that is Stephen O'Reilly's cat, Sebastian. I will not edit those out because he is part of the show.
He is. He's made several appearances on my show, and he is the loudest cat I've ever owned, and I've owned quite a few cats.
Who owns who?
Oh, he owns me. Trust me.
Yes, indeed. Folks, when we last checked in with Mr. O'Reilly, he was living in beautiful, freezing cold Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sorry, let me say it correctly. Kentucky.
That's right. You got to say it with mouthful of gravel.
Yeah, mouthful of marbles. There you go.
Yeah.
Things happened, and it doesn't really matter why, but Stephen and his lovely bride, and I guess Sebastian the cat, decided to move to Tampa, Florida.
Yes, that is correct.
Florida.
I now live in Tampa, or as I call it, fucking Florida.
So we're not going to talk about why you moved because that's nobody's goddamn business. But I will say that you, my friend, and your wife, and hell, maybe even Sebastian the cat, are good luck charms for the city of Tampa.
How you figure that?
Well, when you moved there, so did Tom Brady. Now, you don't know sports, and that's fine. Nobody cares. But since you've been there...
Yay, go sports ball.
The Tampa Bay NFL football team won the Super Bowl. The hockey team won whatever that is. And the baseball team almost made it to the World Series or did and lost or some shit like that. I think the hockey team won it twice. I mean, what the shit?
I don't know. I got nothing, dude.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on to Fascination Sports Talk.
Well, that's what you get for talking about sports with me, because I'm dumb when it comes to that shit.
Well, let's not talk about sports. So what about that election?
Wow.
I'm totally kidding. All right. So how's life in Tampa? I know the weather is way better than Louisville. At least it is in the winter. How are you liking it?
When I first moved here, I was super excited about it. As you know, because you and we've been friends for a couple of years now, 2-3 years, 2-3 other guys. But the short version is when I first got here, I was super excited because you know that I've moved around a lot. So I'm always up for new changes and all that kind of stuff. But I got to be honest with you, I don't know if I like it. And that's not a negative thing. It's just a realistic thing. I had built such, what's the word I'm looking for? I hate to say yeah, network's good. I hate to say I built a life in Louisville because that's so cliche-ish. But
you did, because that was the longest you ever lived in one place, right?
You're correct. Yes, that is in my entire existence on this planet. That's the longest I've ever lived in any city. And I was there for 13 years. I met Stacy there. I did a lot of really cool things musically while I was in Louisville, made great friends, whole 9 yards. So leaving that was harder than I thought it was going to be. A change of scenery never bothers me. The one thing I will say negatively about Tampa before I go any further is because of the water down here, the way the bay is and all that. If you put in your GPS and it says it's 30 miles away from you, it's going to take you a fucking hour to get there.
Why?
Because of the water, the way you have to go over bridges and the way the highways system is down here. It's just odd. But yeah, it's spread out geographically. So that's a lot different. I mean, in Louisville, you can be anywhere in 15 to 20 minutes. So it's taken me longer to adjust than I thought it would. And like I said, none of that is negative. None of that is bad. It is what it is. But it's also taken me longer to find my footing and adjust than it normally does with all the other moves I've been a part of in my life because I've moved around so much.
Find your footing and adjust in what way?
Comfort. I mean, the positives are I have an amazing day job. It's actually kind of a funny little story. When we came down here, we didn't work for the first couple months. And then we decided we were going to go back in the service industry and do that.
Thank you for your service.
How do you still have listeners, you douchebag? Wow. Where was I?
You and your lovely bride decided to get back into the service industry.
Oh, here, Steve, for you, let me dumb it down. We're just going to go wait tables and sling drinks and food and shit. Is that better?
Yeah, except for that last part. Sounds really fucking gross. You're slinging shit. Go ahead.
You've been to some restaurants in your heyday.
You right.
You right. We were going to wait tables and stuff like that until we figured out what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go. And the restaurant we went to just didn't work out. It's no big deal. Life happens. So as I was putting in applications and submitting my resume, I decided to go back into warehousing and shipping and receiving kind of deal until I found a band, figured it out. And the guy that is now my current boss is a transplant to Tampa from Evansville, Indiana, which is 2 hours north of Louisville. So that is literally why he hired me, because we're 2 hours away from each other. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I've got an amazing job. And then it took about 8 or 9 months before I found a really, really good band that I'm super happy to be a part of. So I've got the professional side, quote unquote, all wrapped up. It's just hard for me to get comfortable down here.
So you're not used to a fucking sunshiny, sandy Christmas?
No, and the cool part is I don't hate it. I love the fact that I don't have winter anymore because after playing drums for more than 30 years, my bones hurt. It comes with the territory.
Well, you hit hard.
I do. You can hear my snare in the next 14 counties.
That's rough on the joints, bro.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've abused my body for 30 years. I'm not going to complain about it. It's what I like to call a job hazard. But the point of it is the colder it got every winter, the more my body hurt. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I finally understood why snowbirds do what they do. And I said, oh, okay, I get it now. Makes sense. So I like that. But it's a mental conundrum when you're putting up your Christmas tree in a pair of shorts and a T-shirt. It's weird. It's very odd.
Santa's not wearing flip-flops.
Down here he is. Shit's fucking weird. But this is the first time that I can remember where I've moved somewhere and never known anybody before I got there. Every other time I've moved, I've had at least 4 or 5 people or a very small network of people that I've made or established some sort of relationship before I actually got there. And down here, I had nothing. There was literally nobody that I know. And I'm not being funny, I still don't really have any friends. I mean, I've made tons of acquaintances through my band, which I know you're going to ask me about later, so we'll get to that. And the guitar player of my band is actually my first quote unquote real friend that I've made down here. And that's not poor, pitiful me. That's just a fact. I guess when you get in your upper 40s, which, by the way, FYI, I'm finally 47 for a year. I can say I'm 47.
Congrats.
When you get in your mid to upper 40s, especially me, because I'm jaded anyway, I push people away and I keep them at arm's length because I see through their bullshit and I'm just not interested. And down here, it's a lot easier, I should say, to see through people's bullshit. Now, granted, it's not a touristy city like Orlando or Miami or something like that. The majority of people you meet or that I've met since I've been here, they're not from here either. So it's an interesting dichotomy to go through and go, okay, where's the knife? What's your agenda? What are you looking for? And I know that's a really shitty way to be, but at my age, I just don't fucking care anymore.
I mean, I guess you could say that it's because you're older or whatever, that now you can see through the bullshit. But I think that it's because you're older and now you already know all the games, right? So you're just like, oh, I'm so done playing your fucking dumbass games. I think that's why it's harder for people to make friends when they get older. I'm the same way. I lived in Bernie for 6 years now. And I think in the town of Bernie, I think I've got 2 friends. Oh, maybe it was 3 and now it's 2.
Right. Damn it. I lost one.
I am 47. Haha. And when I got here, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I don't know these people.
Right. And don't get me wrong, that part is definitely cool because although there are times I miss it, but in Louisville, because I had built such a network and obviously on a much smaller scale. So this is for your listeners. I'm not being arrogant, but I had built such a big network in just that city. It was very, very hard for me to go anywhere and not, hey, O'Reilly, what's up? Yada, 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 which is awesome. I'm not complaining about that at all. Down here, I can go in a store and be a complete jackass and nobody knows who I am, which is also awesome. But then at the same time, every now and then I'll hear somebody say the letter O and I'll immediately turn around and go, oh yeah, I don't fucking know you because I don't have any friends here. And then I get, I'm going home. You know what I mean? So it's this constant up and down and it's just weird. And it's just going to take time. And I know that it's just, there's days that it's really, really cool and it's an adventure. Change is good. It's made Stacy and I closer because, again, not to be negative or poor, beautiful me, but we're each other's only friends. So we have each other to lean on and it's made us closer. It's also made me go, bitch, you blinking a little too loud. I'm going to need you to go in the other room. But she does the same thing with me. It's just trying to figure everything out. And I know that's a really long answer to your question about how Tampa is, but that's pretty much how it is. I will say this, only because I find it amusing. There are some people I've met down here. I'm going to need you to look at me when I say this. Dude, there's some red motherfucking rednecks down here in Florida. It's bad.
Oh, cool. Stephen O'Reilly, tell me about the Barstar podcast. And when I say tell me about the Barstar podcast, here's what I mean. Take this in the spirit in which it is intended, which is all love.
Oh, shit. Here it goes.
You just spent the better part of my lifetime talking about how you don't have any fucking friends, which leads me to believe you got nothing to do. So, ergo.
You said ergo.
I'm sorry. Erstwhile. Since you moved to Tampa, I believe, and I could be off by 20 or 30%, I believe you have released 3 episodes of your show.
Yes, it is 3.
Thankfully, one of them was just a few weeks ago, whence I thought you died already.
That is not true. You stalk me on social media. Don't even fuck with me.
You're right. I apologize. What I meant was I thought your podcast died already. Every time I pick up my phone to see if I have a new episode, my phone goes, are you sure you still want to stay subscribed? It's not happening, bro. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just hang on. I got nothing to lose. If this dick's not putting out new stuff, it's not taking up room on my phone, I guess.
Now that's funny.
So now that you gave us a little taste a couple of weeks ago, you're back, I guess. Well, you're not, but when are you coming back? When are you going to make this your full-time job again?
Wow. Well, first of all, it's never been my full-time job because I'm that idiot that likes to work 20 fucking hours a day and sleep 4. Okay, 20 hours, sleep 3, and I keep 1 hour for myself. No, I am going to get back to doing it semi-regularly. I honestly don't know if I will ever be able to go back to once a week like I was, not because I don't want to, but
Because it's a lot of fucking work.
Not only is it a lot of work, but the band I'm in now, we are booked out pretty much every weekend until 23. I don't have time. You have known me for a few years. I never say that I don't have time. It's always I don't make time. But for once, I can actually say I don't have time. For example, this coming Friday, this is how my day is going to go. I will get up at 6 a.m. Well, 5:45, 6 o'clock, depending on how many times I hit snooze.
My time or your time?
My time. So Eastern time. Doesn't matter what time. It's just 6 a.m. Don't fucking interrupt my story. I'll come through the screen and cut you. I'll get up at 6 a.m. I'll have my 47 cups of coffee. I'll load my gear up in my car for the show that night. I'll go to work. I have to run an errand at lunch, and then I'll go back to work, and then I'll leave work, and I'll drive an hour and a half to go play a gig. So then I have to leave work early, drive an hour and a half, get my shit out of my car, set it up, play my gig, blah, 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 get done with the gig, pack it all up, put my shit in the car, drive an hour and a half back home, go to bed, and get up the next morning. And this Saturday, I have to be at another gig at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. Now, I say none of that to complain, but it's when the fuck am I going to do a podcast this week? And my weeks are like that every week. And I love it. I am not complaining at all because I'm gigging so much, which is what I want. It's what I need. It makes me happy. But now it's, okay, how do I juggle this? How do I pull this off? How do I get some shows out? So my plan is to answer your question.
I hope your plan is to answer my question.
I'll fucking kill you till you're dead. My plan is to answer your question is to...
I hope your plan is to answer my question.
I'll kill you till you're fucking dead, you prick. Is to hopefully put a few episodes in the can so I've got some stuff that I can release here and there. And I am going to do an episode with the full band. So there you go. It's a really long-winded answer to what's going on with my show. It's not going anywhere. I still pay for my RSS feed once a month.
So, listeners, the Barstar Podcast is a podcast where Stephen O'Reilly, a musician for his entire life, sits down and talks with usually other musicians. It's not always other musicians. I've been on there and so have some other cool people. But as of this recording, there's 84 episodes out there.
I have 84 now?
Yes, sir. According to my app, you have 84 episodes.
Nice.
I love the show. I'm not kidding. Like when I see that you have a new episode, it's the first thing I listen to that week.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I really do enjoy it. So it's good to hear that while it might not be every week, and it sounds like that's not a might, that's a for sure, I'll be happy with whatever comes whenever it comes. So just don't give up on me as a listener.
As long as my listeners don't give up on me. In that last episode I released with Lance Eric, I got a few messages that people were thanking me for not leaving and ending the show and not killing the show. And I appreciate that. That makes it, I hate to be cliche-ish and say all worth it, but it kind of actually does. That makes it where, oh my God, there actually are people that give a shit about my little venture that I started 4 years ago now, whatever the hell it is. So for your listeners, Streetwalkers, cool name, by the way. Where do you ever think of that one?
You know, I was going to get to that. Listeners, this man, Stephen Buttholio O'Reilly, he's the guy who named y'all. He's the one who came up with the Streetwalkers. So you're welcome from this dude.
Yeah, and if you hate it and you don't like it and you're mad about it, Steve's the one that decided to use it, so you can be mad at him.
I have gotten such positive feedback on that. Like people,
have you?
Yeah,
Awesome.
people are just like, "Hey, I'm a streetwalker. Hey, I'm proud to be a streetwalker. Hey, guess what? I'm a streetwalker." Yeah, so thank you for that. That's really cool.
You're welcome. You're
now,
welcome.
Motherfucker, I said thank you for that already.
You're welcome. See, this is what I do because I was giving you a you're welcome, because as soon as you go back to edit this and you realize that you coughed over me saying you're welcome, you're going to be like, motherfucker.
Thank you.
Dick.
Real quick, I want to talk about your book. You wrote a book. It's called Book. Now, it's actually called...
Are you waiting for me or are you going to introduce it?
Well, I'm waiting for you since apparently I'm never going to read the motherfucker.
Why are you never going to read it? Oh, because I haven't sent it to you.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's a good reason. So what's the name of your book?
It is called The Barstar Podcast. No fame, no fortune, no 401k.
No, it's not.
You're right. It's called Barstar. No fame, no fortune, no 401k. Fuck, let me do that again.
What's your book called? What's the name of your book, man?
Don't edit this out. This is the fourth time I've said this. Let's see if I can get it right, because I don't even know the name of my own shit. Me. It's called Bar Star. No fame, no fortune, no 401k, which is where I got the name for my podcast. I took it off of the book. I named the book first.
Fantastic. Now, there's a song by, I think it's Garth Brooks. I don't even remember what song it is because I'm a terrible, terrible person. And I'm sure you'll be able to tell me what song. He did a like sort of a live in Central Park concert kind of a thing. And when he played that song, he sang the whole song up to a certain point. He said, and then that's when I realized the song wasn't done. So I wrote another verse, and here's the verse.
Oh, that's Friends in Low Places.
Thank you very much. I knew you could
welcome.
do it. You did that with your book.
I did. I guess I finished it and submitted it to 50 agents. And I know 50 is a very specific number, but I was doing everything in chunks of 50 because, yes, listeners, there's that many damn literary agents. It's actually quite ridiculous. But I did my first 50 submissions, and I got rejected by all of them, which is amazing because 14 of them responded to me. I've never been so happy to be rejected in my life. They gave some constructive criticism and stuff like that. The book is a memoir, but it's not about my personal life. It's about my music career and my journey and how it started. So some of the personal stuff will come in there, but for the most part, it's just all music based and everything I've done and how my life has mirrored quote unquote famous people or rock stars or whatever. And that's kind of the crux of the book. So it's a very niche market. And I was aware of that when I wrote it. But my biggest goal was to write the words "the end." And I did that. And I edited it. No, I can't say that word. About 7 times before I submitted it. So I submitted it to my 50 agents. And then with the rejections, I went back and I did a couple of minor edits. And then in 2019, I met Delana. And that's where that whole little weird musical comedy romance thing kind of happened, that I went to the NAMM show in Anaheim, California, ran into her almost literally, been a big fan of her for years. Then she ended up stalking my social media. Then she hired me for a tour and I went on tour with her. It was an amazing, awesome experience.
Can you explain what NAMM is?
Absolutely. NAMM is the National Association of Music Merchants. It's a big, giant trade show that they do twice a year.
You say trade show. Is it like Comic-Con?
What it is, the winter one that happens in Anaheim, California, it's been happening there since, God, I don't know, the 70s or 80s. The whole purpose of it is they rent out the Anaheim Convention Center and all the music instrument makers, they all reveal their new products for the year. The drum companies, the cymbal companies, the guitar companies, if they make a musical instrument, they are at the NAMM show. And it's a big trade show for all the dealers and the vendors and the store owners and the educators to all come and see what's new for that year, yada, yada, yada. But the biggest part, what it has turned into, especially the Anaheim one, the summer one is usually in Nashville around July-ish. And it's just as cool. It's just way smaller. When I was at NAMM, we were there for 3 days and I didn't see everything. It's absolutely giant. But a lot of the quote unquote rock stars and famous musicians and session guys and all these musicians that people have looked up to for years, they're just walking around hanging out. And a lot of them play, and there's a lot of concerts and small shows and acoustic shows. So it's just anything that has to do with music and music gear is what the NAMM show is all about. And then when you're a musician, it's just one of those things that you always try to experience just to go see it. Because most musicians that have been playing for a while, we're all fucking gearheads. We all want gear and we look at gear and go, oh, or as we call it, porn. So I got to go, and back to when I ran into Delana, I was walking by I was actually on my way to the restroom, to be honest with you. And she was standing in a line to get a glass of wine. And I just happened to go, holy shit, that's Delana. So that's how a lot of that kind of weird stuff happens. So I decided to not submit last year and redo the ending of the book to include the Delana tour, because I thought it was kind of an interesting way to cap off the book, because the whole book is about how my life parallels quote unquote rock star musicians, yada, yada, yada. And then I get hired to go on a small tour with an artist that I was a fan of. So I thought it was kind of cool. So that's where the book is. I'm almost done with that last little bit. And when I say almost done, I think I have maybe 1 or 2 pages left.
Is this going to be at the end? And then after this new chapter, is it going to say the end?
Yeah. I'm not adding anything else to it.
How do you know?
Because if I decide to do that, I'm never going to try to submit it again. It's just going to be ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. Let's see if I can get this first one published, and then I'll go from there.
All right, cool.
See, what do you think about that?
I've been hearing about this goddamn book for 4 years, and a couple of times you have read excerpts from it on your podcast.
Right.
And based on what I know about you and the stories that you have gotten to tell on your show,
right,
and some of the stories that other people have told on your show, it is something that I have been looking forward to for quite some time. So hurry the fuck up.
Fair enough.
Now we're going to get to that point in the story where I ask you about your new band.
What about them? No, I'm just kidding.
What are they called, and how did you meet these fellows?
When I first moved down here, I was super excited because I was told how amazing the scene was down here and how awesome the players were down here. And let me tell you right now, no. Fuck no. No.
Okay. I have a corollary to that story. When I moved from San Antonio to Louisville.
Yeah, let's see if I can still do it. Louisville. Yeah, I can still do it.
Oh, good job, buddy. So when I moved to Louisville from San Antonio, everybody said, oh, man, you are going to hate the humidity here. And I said, I'm from San Antonio. It's humid as fuck there. And they were like, you got no idea. Fast forward to when everybody was crying about the humidity, I was like, no, seriously. What the fuck y'all talking about? This is nothing. Y'all bunch of pansies. And then it snowed for the rest of my life there. So the talent pool that you are aware of is not as
up to par. I'll put it that way. And look, all jokes aside, I'm being kind of funny about it, but had I known exactly what I was walking into, it wouldn't have been as much of a shock. But the timing of when we were moving, how we got down here, and as much as everybody's sick of hearing it, it's a fucking fact, Rona, how all that shit went down, it was really difficult to try to navigate and go out and see everything and hear everybody and all this stuff. So I did a lot of my research through music pages and Facebook groups of musicians and musicians wanted and musicians looking and all this kind of stuff. And I got pretty excited. And then when I got down here, by the time I got down here, things were starting to open up again. We moved down here in September of 20, which was still technically, well, I guess technically we're still in a pandemic, but so things weren't open fully, but they were open enough where bands were playing and this, that, and the other. And as I kind of traveled around and went from venue to venue and bar to bar and club to club, my excitement of playing music in a new city dwindled fast. I was not impressed. And I hate to be like that because you know how I am. I'm not a they suck person. I don't say something sucks. I don't say anything sucks.
I've said it many times on my show. I used to have a problem with saying things sucked.
Right.
Because I would say it about everything. This band sucks. That band sucks. Ace of Base sucks. Whatever. But in listening to your show and getting to know you as a person, that is one of the biggest things that I have taken away from our relationship is that it doesn't suck. It's just not for me.
Oh, thanks.
Especially if it's something massively successful, like Ace of Base. They don't suck. They just aren't for me.
You just don't dig them.
Yeah, it's not for you. It's not supposed to be for me. Everything is not supposed to be for everybody.
Right. While we're talking about this, just because I have squirrel brain, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I've said it on a lot of my episodes, but I've never said it on your show. For those of you that think Nickelback sucks, eat a dick. Because Chad Koger's laughing at all of you motherfuckers when he's cashing his checks. Carry on. What were you saying?
I was saying Nickelback sucks. But
I love you for that. That was good. Well played, sir.
Thank you. That's one of the biggest things that I took away. And I still am not 100% perfect at not saying that.
Right. It's easy to come out.
But I do find myself when I say it, I catch myself, and more often than not, the person I'm talking to or whatever, I will say, you know what? I take that back. They don't suck. It's just not for me.
Well, that's cool. And I appreciate you giving me credit for that. Not that you have to. I've always been that way. Oh, man, I hate this band. They fucking suck. That band is sold, let's just say, for the sake of argument, we'll call it 10 million downloads. Well, if 10 million people downloaded that song, it clearly does not suck. This isn't about money or popularity. Somebody or 10 million somebodies liked it. How can it suck? It's just not for you. You don't dig it.
Not only did they like it, theoretically, in that scenario, they liked it enough to pay for it.
Absolutely. 100%. I've been a big proponent of perspective forever. When I was teaching drums, I tried to always instill that in my students. Perspective is everything. If you look at my life on paper, I left home at 13. I didn't have the greatest childhood, been homeless, been broke, almost went to jail, should have been on drugs. Typical same fucking story, right? So on paper, I should be a statistic. Guess what? I'm not. Because I can either use that shit as a crutch, or I can just pick myself up, dust myself off, and go, all right, cool. What's next? Let's see what else I can fuck up or what else I can succeed at. It's not that complicated. I think people make shit too complicated.
Word.
I don't know why I just got off on that tangent.
Because you're a religious zealot. I get it.
I fucking hate your existence, you piece of shit.
Hey, Streetwalkers. Here's a word from our sponsors.
18 or 80, crippled, blind, or crazy, I'm going dancing tonight. It don't matter which one gets a hold of me or I get a hold of them, you know.
That's Hoot Gibson. I met him at Arky Blues Silver Dollar in Bandera, Texas. He's just one of many characters you'll hear from in Vanishing Postcards, a podcast where we explore the hidden dives, traditions, and frequently threatened histories discovered by exiting the highways.
We don't give a flying flip for most of your regular bar types.
Featuring dispatches from the back roads, Vanishing Postcards is a touching, frequently humorous experience, perfect for when you need a breather, but don't have the time or luxury of jumping in the car. I'm Evan Stern, and I invite you to join this ride by finding Vanishing Postcards wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
So tell me about your band. What's the name of them, and what do y'all play?
I'm not telling you anything anymore.
Son of a bitch. Stephen O'Reilly and the Bar Stars.
Wow, that's a horrible name. Now, what I was getting at was when I got down here and I figured out that the scene down here wasn't all it's cracked up to be. And given the way that I look and that I do hit hard, I had a lot of metal guys hit me up, which was great. I just wasn't interested. I'm not interested in doing metal. And a little educational nugget for your listeners. Tampa used to be the death metal capital of the country in the 80s.
For real?
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the quote unquote great or super influential death metal bands and hardcore bands came out of Tampa.
Great story.
Wow, you're such a fucking douche. Seriously, you're just
seen your
you're
face.
a walking bag of fucking douche water. That's what you are. Driving on your douche canoe in your walking bag of douche water.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
But the short version is there used to be a studio here that a lot of the death metal bands from Europe would come specifically to record their records in this studio that used to be in Tampa. That's how much of a metal capital it used to be here.
Wow, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have guessed it either.
I wouldn't have either, but I guess oppressively the heat just makes everybody fucking angry and pissed off, so they write a bunch of death metal. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. The summer does suck here. It is fucking hot.
So what's the name of your band?
Name of the band is Soul Circus Cowboys.
Soul Circus Cowboys.
Yes, Soul Circus Cowboys.
Now, is this the band that was already formed and were looking for a drummer, or was this a bunch of dudes you met and you guys formed a band?
The reason I was telling you about all that stuff is I was getting really frustrated. All the musicians that I was meeting or were trying to meet me or messaging me or yada, 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 they weren't up to par. They weren't on my level. And I know that sounds arrogant, but I don't really care. So I had to deal with a lot of that kind of shit. And I was about to not give up, because I'll never give up playing, but I was about to take a break. I was going to pull down all my social media. I was going to just chill and work for a while and not do anything. And then Soul Circus Cowboys reached out to me. They had seen a couple of my videos on some of the Tampa music pages. And they said, hey, we possibly may be looking for a drummer. Are you available? And I didn't answer immediately. I had heard the name and I knew they were established. So I was never seeking them out at all, because you just don't seek out established bands. They were gigging a lot. So I kind of looked into them a little bit more, looked at their calendar and went, holy shit, they are booked till middle of 2022. So it was obviously the summer of last 2021. So I looked into their schedule and saw how much they were playing. And then I looked into their music, what they were doing, and they're an original band. They have 4 full-length records out, which immediately piqued my interest because I've been doing nothing but covers for past 10 years or so. I stopped doing originals years ago. So that piqued my interest. And as I dived into the songs, I actually really enjoy the music. I really like the music. So it took 2 or 3 months to actually get in the same room and sit down and talk to each other and actually play. And once we played, it was instant. We knew that I was a good fit for them and they were a good fit for me. The running joke of the band is, it's actually true, but we've kind of made it a joke, is they needed me and I needed them. We needed each other. They were having issues with their other drummer. Guy was a great player. I don't know anything about the guy. I've never even met him, so I'm not throwing a dude under the bus. That's their deal, not mine. I was offered a job and I took it. But I needed them because I was at the point where, fuck Florida, I'm not interested. I don't even care. They wanted to make a change, and they knew all the drummers in town because SCC, Soul Circus Cowboys, SCC has been around for about 11 years in the Tampa area. They're very, very well established, which is why they gig so regularly. I have no idea how the inception of Soul Circus Cowboys came to be. I do know that the Soul Circus Cowboys Facebook page has 76,000 followers. There's probably 10 or 11 videos on YouTube. One has over 1 million views for all their original stuff. But when you're in the music circles and you say, hey, yes, I'm playing with the guys in SCC, everybody goes, oh, yeah. That makes any sense.
Sure. Absolutely. So this band had 4 albums by the time you got on board, right?
Yeah.
Of original material.
Yes.
And this is an inside baseball question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't feel like it, or if it's nobody's fucking business.
Have you seen my baseball?
Did you have to learn the whole catalog, or do you guys just develop a set list and then that's what you're kind of learning and going off of?
No, that's a good question, actually, because people have asked me that question before. It depends on who the musician is. And what I mean by that is you can hire somebody to either A, be a hired gun until you find the permanent replacement, or you can look for the permanent replacement. In my case, I was the permanent replacement they were looking for. The second part of it depends on what kind of musician you are, is you can have that conversation of, okay, what's your set list? What do you regularly play? And you can only learn that stuff. Or you can be fucking overachiever like me and learn all of it, which is what I did. I learned all of it.
Yeah, that's about what I figured. Knowing you're a crazy person.
Right. And my first show with them was October 8th. And then you figure there's at least 2 months before that I was learning all their tunes. So October 8th to now is, what is that, 3 months, 4 months, whatever? Math is hard. There's probably at least 7 of the original tunes. There's way more than that, but there's quite a few I know that they do not play anymore. And there's a couple that are acoustic, but there's at least 7 of the original tunes we still haven't played live yet, but I know them. I took it upon myself to learn all of it. There's nothing wrong with that question. That's a great question. It also depends what you're doing too. Like when I went out with Delana, I just learned what was on the set list.
Right. That goes back to the temporary hired gun thing.
Absolutely. I was a hired gun for that tour. I was never going to be a permanent part of her band. I mean, we still remain friends and that's amazing. But as far as the business side of it, she told me the song she wanted to do, and that's what we learned. I think I did learn one extra one just in case. As far as the original stuff, all the covers she picked, I already knew, except one. I don't even remember what it was, but I do remember I had to learn one cover. But all of her original stuff, I picked one extra original just in case we ran over or she decided, hey, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. So, yeah, that's 2 completely different scenarios.
Sure. Soul Circus Cowboys.
Yes.
What kind of music is it?
It's kind of Southern rock, country rock, Southern rock. It really depends. I lean more towards Southern rock, because there's some stuff that's got some country elements, but then we've got some songs that are just genuinely heavy. I mean, they're just fucking rock tunes, no matter how you slice it.
So Soul Circus Cowboys.
Yes.
They have like you said, a pretty intensive playing schedule. Is it all in Florida? Like, are these all local-ish shows?
Yeah, we do mostly the southwest part of Florida. We do have some stuff coming up later in the year. It's going to be out in Orlando and stuff like that. And we're trying to branch out. Before the pandemic, Billy McKnight, who's our lead singer and main business person, it's essentially his band. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It was his idea. It was his brainchild. but he handles all the business and stuff. And before the pandemic hit, he used to do a run from Ohio to Daytona every year, about 13, 14 days. And because of the pandemic, he hasn't been able to do it. And I don't think we're going to do it this year. I think Billy is shooting for 23, but don't hold me to that. So most of it is in the Florida area, yes, but there have been quite a few shows in the past that have been in Ohio and Indiana. There was some stuff in Georgia, stuff like that. You and I have talked about it at length, and I'm not going to bore you or your listeners with it again. It's just the industry is not what it was. So it's super hard to take out an original project and just quote unquote tour with it.
Right.
You have to get established first. And then the problem with that is it's a catch-22, because how do you get established? I mean, like I said before, our Facebook page has 75,000 followers. We've got one of our videos has over 1 million views on it, and still nobody really knows who we are. So it's an interesting dichotomy how all that shit works now. You just get lost in the internet cesspool of shit, I guess.
So there's an abundance of content.
Absolutely. Everybody's got content, and that's an amazing thing. So I'm not being negative about it at all. It's just, it is what it is. It's really hard to get noticed in a sea of so much shit that's inundating everybody's eyeballs every day.
Sure.
And everybody has the attention span of a fucking squirrel now anyway. So it's even way harder.
Is there a website? Is it soulcircus.com? Is that a thing?
It's soulcircuscowboys.com.
I'm a fucking idiot. Thank you. Sorry about that. Steven, since we were talking about Soul Circus Cowboys, just so that the streetwalkers can get an idea of what kind of music and what that band is all about, can I play one of Soul Circus Cowboys songs?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Awesome.
Party at the Barn is a song that we just shot a video for about 3 weeks ago. We'll just stick it in right about now.
When the rooster crows, got a cup of joe, heading out the door. A 12-hour day, baling hay till these calloused hands are sore. 5 days a week, we work and sleep from sun up to sundown. We blow off steam, if you know what I mean, when the weekend comes around. We party at the barn, y'all, and raise a little yee-haw. Line up the shot, smoke what we got, break out the Les Pauls. We're gonna build a bonfire, get a little hot wad, ride till we drop. Ain't no clocks and there ain't no last call. Party at the barn, y'all. There'll be beer and wine and homemade shine, steaks out on the grill. Cars and bikes and jacked up trucks parked out in the field. You can smell the smoke and hear the music all the way to town. The girls get down, the boys get loud, and the law don't come around. We party at the barn, y'all, and raise a little yee-haw. Line up the shot, smoke what we got, break out the Les Pauls. We're gonna build a bonfire, get a little hot wad, ride till we drop. Ain't no clocks and there ain't no last call. We're gonna party at the barn, the moon gets high and so do I. The blackbird sings, the coyotes cry. That southern wind whispers through the trees. We party at the barn, y'all, raise a little yee-haw. Line up the shot, smoke what we got, break out the Les Pauls. We're gonna build a bonfire, get a little hot wad, ride till we drop. Ain't no clocks and there ain't no last call. We're gonna
Oh, dude, that song fucking kicks ass. Holy moly.
Shanks.
Well, I don't know what you're saying thanks for. Didn't you just recently join the band? I mean, was that even you?
No, it was not me, but I'm saying thanks because I'm invested fully in the band. I am an equal 1/5 member, and there's so many good songs that Billy has written and has had co-writers. Him and a few different co-writers have written all the songs, so they've all been kind of the brainchild of Billy. And for him to trust me to even come in and play those songs with the band is amazing. For me, the second reason I'm saying thanks is because I'm humbled and honored I get to play those songs every night.
Sure.
Because there's so many of them. But that being said, since you said, did I play on it? My answer is no. There is some stuff coming up. We're going to go in the studio and re-record a few songs, give them a fresh paint of coat, so to speak. I stole that from Bruce Pritchard. So if anybody says anything, I've heard that before. Yeah, I stole it. I liked it. We're going to re-record some songs, and then we're going to record some new stuff and have some new stuff come out probably around the fall, because Billy's got so many ideas. We've recently started doing 2 of them live already. So it's going to be a cool thing. I mean, the whole process is to keep writing, keep grinding, and keep putting out new music and add a few covers here and there. Because if you come to an SCC show, you're going to see probably 85% originals, 15% covers.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
You said a while back that SCC had some music videos, and one of them even has like 1 million views or whatever. Are there any plans for you guys to do some videos where you're going to be in it?
Ironically, it's funny you asked me that. We just shot a video about 3 weeks ago for Party at the Barn, and it was a sandy experience. Because Florida. Never been to a barn that had fucking sand on the ground, but whatever. Fucking Florida. What are you going to do? But the way it was shot, it's going to be awesome. I've seen a couple of baby clips as far as what the director's idea and vision for the video was, or is, I should say. Yes, there was an actual video director. It's kind of cool, too. There was a giant, big boom camera that was just flying all around. Surprised you didn't have drones, but his vision of what the video is going to be really, really cool. And it fits the song perfectly, because Party at the Barn is pretty self-explanatory. Song about a party at the barn, because that's what they used to do back in the day. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's weird because I had to learn all the original music and stuff that I didn't play on. So essentially I'm kind of a cover drummer still, but the caliber of the guys that played on these records, it's immense. It's amazing. My mind is going blank right now, but I know that one of the drummers that played on a lot of the newer stuff is Keith Urban's drummer. And you know what a huge Keith Urban fan I am.
I do.
I can't believe I'm flaking on his name right now. I'm a jackass. But there's a lot of Nashville studio guys that played on quite a few of the records. And a lot of the original members that were there before they departed are on the records too. And they're all great players, and the songs are great. The structures are great. So it's cool for me to know that Billy has trusted me with playing those tunes, and he wants to go in the studio with me and re-record some stuff and record some new stuff. So it's all good, dude.
Well, that sounds really kick-ass, and I'm glad that it seems like you have found your happy place, finally.
I have. As my buddy Todd said, I found my home because they don't bitch about how loud my snare is.
Hi, Todd O'Meara.
I'm going to get a text for that one.
So,
damn you.
Everybody go check out Soul Circus Cowboys at soulcircuscowboys.com, and then also go check out their Facebook page, which has a whole lot of followers or some shit.
Yeah, click the like button. There's content on that page.
Fantastic.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
You know those popping phone handle things that you see on everyone's phones nowadays? Well, how would you like to put your logo on them? Does your podcast or band need new merch? Do you want to bring attention to your new book or film? Maybe you need something unique for your Patreon or crowdfunding campaign. Then visit thelogopop.com, where you can customize them with the logo of your podcast, band, business, art, school mascot, or whatever else you can think of. These are way more affordable than you may think at thelogopop.com. Mention where you heard this ad and get free shipping on your entire order. Remember, that's thelogopop.com to order your custom popping phone handles. That's thelogopop.com.
Let's get back into it.
Moving on. Mr. O'Reilly, you mentioned earlier that you and your lovely wife, Stacy, are about to go on an adventure of sorts.
We are. In fact, I just did part of it today. She's probably going to kill me, but she'll never listen to this, so what the fuck do I care?
Hey.
What? She doesn't even listen to my show.
I'm not her husband. Everybody listens to me.
You're probably right. But she ain't gonna. She don't even listen to me half the time. And I don't mean my show, just me.
And you don't even mean half the time.
Right. No, we are in the summer, in July to be exact, we are moving into a fifth wheel.
You mean like a pull-along trailer?
Yep.
Why?
Why not?
Like, there's a lot of reasons why not, but why?
The real reason why, it was not part of the plan when we moved down here. No, people retire in fifth wheels, and that was just weird. But we met a lot of people our age that do it, and that was our question. Why? Why are you doing that? And then they proceeded to tell us two words that really piqued my interest. You ready?
Property taxes?
No, but that was a good guess. I like that. And I never ask if you're ready, but I have to ask if you're ready for this one because when they first said it to me, it blew my fucking mind. What are you talking about? The two words are financial freedom.
That makes sense.
It does make sense, but the first glimpse of it, you just kind of...
Hold on. Wait, stop. That's right, Streetwalkers. We're going to pause for a commercial. This episode is brought to you by the word glimp, not a real word.
At the first hearing of financial freedom, you immediately, what did you fucking win the lottery? When did you start a pyramid scheme? When you open your own business? What did you do? And then or I should use the correct terminology, as we dove into it and figured out why people our age are doing it, and they showed us what they paid per month, I went, I could do that for a year or two. So the goal is to do it for a year or two, stack a bunch of cash, and then figure out where we want to have a house and buy it and or build a house. That's why we're doing it. It's not permanent. I couldn't do it forever. And I will also say that the stigma that is attached to those things that I had is gone now because they don't make those fucking things like they used to. It's almost like Joanna Gaines from Discovery Channel went in there and said, okay, y'all are going to do this, and this, and people are going to buy them. And she wasn't playing because they're nice as shit now. They're like studio apartments in New York City is essentially what they are.
Previous guest of the show, Joanna Gaines.
You had Joanna Gaines on your show?
No, but she's not far. She's over there in Waco, right over there.
If you had Joanna Gaines on your show, Stacy would listen.
Oh, well, then guess what? I'm going to retitle this episode Fascination Street with guest Joanna Gaines, and I'm just going to email it straight to her.
She'll listen to 30 seconds.
She'll be like,
email you back and go, I fucking hate you. Really hate you. But no, so that's the plan. That's the adventure. We're going to do it for a year, see how we feel, and go from there. We could do it for another year. We could do it for 5 years. We could do it for 4 months, and I could absolutely hate it and lose my mind. I don't know. But the one thing that I do know is I have nothing to lose and a shit ton to gain, especially money-wise.
That sounds like a podcast. I'm not even kidding. You and your wife, it sounds like a 30-minute podcast every week where you check in with us and tell us how it's going. I know, right? It doesn't have to be fucking 2 hours long. It doesn't have to be all edited crazy-fied. Y'all are going to have nothing but fucking time once y'all are not at work. And
motherfucker, I'm still going to be working shit.
I know. Y'all are going to have jobs and all that shit. What I meant is y'all can fucking throw down 30 minutes of, so where are we at this week? How do we feel it's working? Is it doing what we thought it was going to our bank account? That sort of a thing. You know, what did you not expect that did happen? Or what did you expect that didn't happen? You know, just that kind of shit.
It's a good idea.
Because this is going to sound dumb as fuck, but this is kind of a movement where there's a group of people and a growing number of people who are doing this.
Oh, no, it doesn't sound dumb. It's a total fucking movement. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but it is a complete movement. There's so many people that are in their late 30s and early 40s that are doing this fifth wheel camper lifestyle, so to speak.
But you're going to have to figure out what it's called, though. Is it called van culture? Is it fifth wheel? Is it RVs? What are we talking about? What is it called?
I don't know. I think they just call it full-time RV living. The only issue I have, because I'm such a douche nozzle when it comes to wording, is a fifth wheel is not an RV.
Right.
It's a fifth wheel camper.
Right.
An RV is a recreational vehicle. That's where I get a little confused.
Sure.
I know they call it full-time living or full-time RV living. or RV life. I think the hashtag is actually RV life now that I think about it.
Gotcha. It reminds me of that movie from last year, Nomadland. Did you watch it? You're not going to want to watch it. No, it's about a bunch of people, but but in this particular version, which is also a movement, it's a bunch of people who are at the end of their days. They're retired. They've run out of money and they're living in a van and shitting in a bucket.
Ew.
But they're nomading all across the area because they go to wherever the temporary seasonal jobs are. So either they're picking oranges or they're shipping Amazon boxes or, just shit like that. They won a couple of Academy Awards last year.
No shit.
But this is not what you're talking about. You're talking about younger people who are doing this to save for the future, not because they didn't save in the past.
Exactly. The first couple we met, they're a little older than us, but not by much. They're in their early 50s. So they're not that much older than us, but they were the first couple that we met that did it. And Stacy and I looked at them when they were telling us like they had 3 heads. And then we met another couple that was probably around our age. And then I actually did a few gigs with a guy who's in his mid-30s. Him and his fiance live in one. And I said, wait, there's got to be more. I'm missing something here. And that's when I started investigating. And then we went back to each couple and said, okay, why are you doing this? And they all said the same thing. So we thought about it and kicked it around, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to do it for a year, see how we feel, and then we'll go from there. If we decide to do it for 2 more years or 3 more years or whatever, we'll just see what happens.
Well, that sounds rad. It sounds unique and different, and it sounds like you're in for a heck of an experience. I don't know if it's going to turn out well, and neither do you.
No, I don't have a clue.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun along the way. There'll be some hiccups for sure, because there is with everything. But it sounds like that, especially if you and Stacy have both agreed to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Then y'all are in this together. That you're not wrong, dude. That is going to be an adventure. And I'm not kidding. I think you should do a show.
I'm not kidding. That's a great idea, and I'm totally not going to give you credit for it. No, I'm kidding. I will give you all the credit in the world that it was your idea. But the only negative I know 100% certainty going in is my gear. I can't fucking store gear in an RV, and I have a garage right now. So loading in and out to go to gigs is super easy. In an RV, I'm not going to have that.
Yeah, but all of your shit's not going to be in your RV, right? Everything you own is going to be in your RV? No, but you know how big drums are. Yeah, well, all of the rest of your shit is going to be in a storage unit, and that's where your drums are going to be, but on the front end.
Let me lay this out for you very simply. Storage unit, through 2 doors, up 2 floors, down 180 some feet. Before I can even open my shed door to get my gear, because storage facilities in Florida are all on the 2nd floor.
Man, Florida's weird.
You fucking think?
Florida's weird, bro.
I used to have a storage facility in Louisville, and I am not making this up. I would open the door to the storage facility. I would walk 10 feet, and there was my shed. Super simple.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, down here, not so much. The ones that are on the ground don't have climate control, and I'm not putting my drums in that Florida heat. Fuck that.
No, sir.
That's going to be the biggest challenge that I know I'm going to immediately face. Other than that, in just the small quarters, I don't really give that much of a shit. I'm going to lose my awesome desk and my awesome bookshelves, but okay, whoopty shit. Stuff like that doesn't really bother me that much. Not knowing exactly how I'm going to get my gear in and out for shows that I play every fucking weekend, that is going to be the challenge.
You'll figure it out, because that's what you do.
You're right. I do.
You're a find a way, make a way kind of brother.
I try to be.
Steven, as we're heading out, is there anything I didn't ask you or we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about today? Like, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I'm still an asshole.
Oh, cool. So check.
I mean, that was just for you. I'm really not an asshole. You just like to call me one.
What? How dare you?
How dare I
love to call you an asshole.
I know. You're right. No, man, I think you... I love it. I mean, you covered everything. The only thing I want to add is, and I know that you'll put this in your show notes, but just where everybody can find Soul Circus Cowboys. It is soulcircuscowboys.com, which you already talked about. But then there's the YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Soul Circus Cowboys. And the Facebook page, which we're most active, but we also have Instagram and Twitter. I don't know why anybody has a Twitter, because Twitter is an online time suck, but you know how I feel about that. But we are on all the social media platforms. But the 3 most important ones would be the website, the Facebook, and then the YouTube channel. So go check that stuff out and click like and subscribe and all that stuff. And if you don't like it, tell us why. I appreciate you reaching out to me. You want me to be back on your show again. I miss doing this on a regular basis like I was doing it. But since we started talking and doing this show today, now you know a little bit more why it's hard for me to keep my show running, which it's not going anywhere. It's just going to be sporadic from this point on.
Sure.
For the foreseeable future. Who knows? I mean, next year could be a completely fucking different thing. I have no idea.
Right.
Like I said, I've been in SEC for 3 months officially, 5 months unofficially, because we did the whole under the table thing for a while, getting to rehearse and all that stuff. And I still haven't had them on my show yet. Now, granted, that's on them because they're like fucking herding cats. But seriously, it's good to do this again. And I appreciate you reaching out to me. But yeah, I think you covered everything, man. I don't think I missed anything.
Cool. All right. Stephen O'Reilly.
Yes, that is me.
From not only the Barstar podcast.
Yes.
The Barstar book.
Yes.
And Soul Circus Cowboys.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy, hectic, sandy as fuck day in Tampa, Florida to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate you coming back on.
Fucking Florida. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I will apologize. I do know that we have, now I don't know how many, but I do know that you and I do have some crossover fans. So those fans of your shows that do listen to my show, I appreciate the support, and I apologize. There's been no episodes lately. I'm working on it. I'll get to it, I promise. Thanks for having me, and I guess I have to return the favor, although you have to promise not to fucking take over my show again.
This I cannot do.
I know, because you're a bully.
This I am. All right, buddy. Take it easy. Tell your wife I said, what is up? I appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
See you.
Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2001 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jack's Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.